Now it's time for the scores and results of Week 21. Another week in the books, and that leaves us with only 2 more weeks before the playoffs begin. All of these matches were huge. Like we said last week, there is no real game of the week, instead just a bunch of important games. So let's break it down right now. The NWO Sharpshooters tied with the Avalon Park Armenians 6-6. The NWO Legacy actually had a 6-6 tie with the Dirty Nannies. However, over the course of that game, the Legacy are the new X Division champions, and they have the hitter of the week. Ian Kinsler is the hitter of the week, batting .357 with 4 runs, 20 total bases, 8 ribbies, 2 walks, and 4 stolen bases. This dual threat is one of the many reasons the NWO Legacy finds themselves in first place at the top of their division. The Pilsen Palateros beat the Bucktown Fums 8-3-1 in a huge matchup and a big win, and not only that, but they are the new Smokin' Aces champion, and the man who helped them achieve that championship is the pitcher of the week. That man is Zach Greinke. Greinke pitched 17 innings over 2 quality start wins, posted an ERA of 1.06 and a whip of .47, striking out 20 batters. A ridiculous performance. The NWO Trenel Bolts beat the Hooligans 9-3 and retained their hardcore title 1 more week. Meanwhile, in a battle literally for 3rd place, the Chicago Magic pulled out a huge win over the McKinley Park Magmortars 8-3-1. And that big win knocks the Magmortars into the cellar. Let's take a quick look at the standings and see how they shake out with only 2 weeks left. Right now, the Thunderbolts, even though they pulled out a win last week, still find themselves 9.5 games back of the Legacy for first place in the division. Meanwhile, the big story of that division is that the Bucktown Fums and the Dirty Nannies are tied for 3rd place and that playoff spot. So it's going to come right down to the wire between these 2 teams. Meanwhile, in the Denizens of the Shy division, the Armenians find themselves 5 games back of the Sharpshooters as they continue to creep up on first place and that first round bye. Meanwhile, for the playoff spot in that division, you have the Chicago Magic holding tight in 3rd after their win over the Magmortars, and the Pilsen Palateros sneaking up only 3 games back. The Magmortars are not completely out of it, however, as they find themselves 6.5 back of the Magic with only 2 weeks left. Now, once again, next week is full of important matchups, as you're going to see the McKinley Park Magmortars take on the Armenians in a matchup where, of course, both teams are trying to win. The Armenians can smell the top spot in the division, and the Magmortars have to pull out a win if they hope to have any chance of reaching that playoff spot. The Pilsen Palateros are taking on the NWO Sharpshooters, and the Palateros definitely need a win here to try to gain a little more ground in their division, while the Sharpshooters are just trying to keep their distance from the Armenians. The main goal of the Sharpshooters, however, is probably to win that Smokin' Aces title. The Bucktown Fums are facing the Hooligans, and although the Hooligans are out of it, they're definitely playing the Dream Crusher here. A win over the Fums might knock them out of the playoffs. The Chicago Magic is taking on the Dirty Nannies in a matchup of teams who are currently holding on to their playoff spots by a thread. Both teams need the win, and a loss could cripple either team. And the NWO Legacy is taking on the NWO Trenel Bolts, and there's a chance that we could have an NWO dual champion, since the Legacy hold the X Division title and the Thunderbolts hold the Hardcore title. So it's champion versus champion and a battle over first place in the division. A lot of huge matchups in Week 22. Now it's time to check out the emails. Remember to send those emails to WCW Fantasy Report at gmail.com. That's WCW Fantasy Report at gmail.com. Yes, it's real, and we'll read your emails on the air.